Rupa Goswami was staying at Vrindavan, but he came here for a reason. I will now explain. One time, Rupa Goswami had given Lalita Madhav to Raghunath. This book describes the intense feelings of love in separation. After reading the book, Raghunath cried day and night in agitation and became mad in distress. Sometimes he went off to stay, leaving the book, and sometimes he fell to the ground, keeping the book to his chest. People who saw the various states of Raghunath's ecstasy as he lost consciousness became worried and struck with wonder. Thinking of a cure for Raghunath's condition, Rupa Goswami quickly finished writing Dan Keli Kaumudi. Sri Rupa then gave Raghunath the new book and requested him to taste its contents and return Lalita Madhav for editing. Although Raghunath was reluctant to give up Lalita Madhav, when he heard that Rupa wanted to edit it, he relented. Taking and reading Dan Keli Kaumudi, he tasted different ecstasies and thus merged in an ocean of happiness. O Srinivas, what can I say about the activities of Sanatana, Rupa, and Raghunath? After finishing this narration, Raghav Pandit, feeling jubilation in his mind, led them on. Within a short time, they visited all the places near Radhakund. Raghav Pandit then showed Srinivas and Narottama the place known as Neemgram. Then after leaving Govardhana, they all worshipped Lord Krishna, who they considered more dear than own life. Should I continue, Mataji?
Yes, please, go ahead.
In the Vraja Vilas Stava, it is stated, considering him more dear than their own lives, out of intense parental love, the elderly gopis worship even a drop of perspiration from Krishna's lotus feet. And for a long time, they kiss his head, decorated with handsome locks of hair. I worship the dust of these gopis' feet.
Yes, Mataji, thank you. Yeah, we'll pause here. So this is Srila Rupa Goswami. He stayed in Vrindavan, while Raghunath Das Goswami, he stayed at Radhakund at Govardhan. So Rupa Goswami once came to Srila Raghunath Das Goswami. And this Lalita Madhava is a book. Those are the narrations of ecstasy in separation. So these Goswamis, by this time we have already known Srila Narottama Srinivasacharya, while Raghav Pandita is taking them on the tour. It doesn't take too much for them to go into the Leela Samadhi, because they are already saturated with Nama, Rupa, Guna. And when there are pastimes that are being narrated, it doesn't take too much for them to just go into that. So in that way, Raghunath Das Goswami, he was experiencing this intense feeling of Vipralamba Bhava. So it was so intense that in that Vipralamba Bhava, they don't really care for themselves because of that intense absorption within. So everybody got so concerned about Raghunath Das Goswami. Apparently, it looks like the person is in ocean of sorrow. That's the external, that's how it is perceived. So that's why all the villagers were really concerned about him. And when they reported this to Rupa Goswami also got concerned, because if the ecstasy of separation goes on like that without interruption, the last two stages of that bhava are madness and then death. That can happen. So that's why Rupa Goswami got concerned, and then he wanted to bring Raghunath Das Goswami from the ecstasy of separation to ecstasy of union. But those acharyas, they cannot be just easily brought like that with words. They are just so much intertwined with the leelas of the lordships. Their mood and absorption can be changed or shifted only through the pastimes of the lordships. So that's why Rupa Goswami has to quickly finish writing a book that's Danakeli Kaumudi, which is about ecstasy and union. So this is how Rupa Goswami tricked Raghunath Das Goswami from ecstasy of separation to ecstasy of union by taking Lalita Madhava from him and giving Danakeli Kaumudi. And so this is why Rupa Goswami, who was there in Vrindavan, came to Radha Kunda to visit Raghunath Das Goswami to give these two books. That's the reason. And this is about Nimakrama that we are reading. And the next one would be Rajavila. For a long time. Okay, so this is the description about the Nimakrama. And yes, please, somebody else can go ahead regarding the Patalakra.
This is Patalagrama. In sport, Radha and her Sakis picked pinkish roses. Patala means pink.
Okay.
Patala means pink. Okay. At this place. Here is Dhiravali Grama coming from Shastigraha. Nanda stayed here on his way to Nandishwara. See in front this Kunja called Navagrama. It is situated on the border of Radhakund. People presently call it Kunjara, and it is the site of Radha and Krishna's unparalleled pastimes. Here is Surya Kunda Grama. Just see the deity of Surya Dev situated in the Surya Mandira within this forest. In great happiness, Radharani with her Sakis came here to worship Surya Deva. Krishna himself became the priest and enjoyed performing the puja. This deity of Surya Deva is very merciful and gives love of Krishna. Who can describe his glories and who will not worship him? I worship Surya Deva, who is the father of Yamuna and the destroyer of all diseases. He bestows attachment to the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. Therefore, he is the basis of all auspiciousness. See in front the town called Kesanai, where Gnanashyama felt very impatient in Radha's absence. Krishna asked Radha's servant why she had not come. Kesanai. Therefore, this place was called Kesanai and later it became known as Konai. See here Badhyara Grama, Bhadra, where Bhadra Uteshwari performed her pastimes. This Magahera Grama, here everyone sees the road Krishna travels by. These people were so intensely eager for his darshan, it cannot be described. Presently, it is known as Magahera.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So this one here, Surya Deva, this is interesting. We will be seeing sun god every day. This can be our meditation. We could turn to him and pay our respects because he bestows. I worship Surya Deva, who is the father of Yamuna and destroyer of all disease. He bestows attachment to the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. So that's one good reason why we want to turn towards Surya Deva and offer our pranams to him every day. Yes, please, you may complete this page.
In this way, after visiting various other pastime places of the Lord, they returned to Radhakund in a joyful state. Whoever takes interest in hearing about or visiting these places is easily freed from any distressed condition. Raghava Pandita, along with Srinivasa and Narottama Dasa, thus spent the night on the shores of Radhakund discussing Krishna Katha till morning arrived.
Thank you. Spend the night on the shores of Radhakunda discussing Krishna Katha. Yeah, thank you. And we will cover this also with your permission. Yeah, somebody please read this.
As they continued parikrama of Govardhan, they came to Ganthuli Grama in a joyful mood. Raghava is loving words began to explain to Srinivas how Ganthuli Grama was named. While playing Holi, Radha and Krishna were seated on a simhasana. The Sakhis took the opportunity to secretly tie the divine couple's cloth together. When Radha and Krishna stood, they found their cloths was tied together and felt embarrassed as all the Sakhis smiled in great fun. After throwing colored dye, playing Holi, the Sakhis untied their clothing. For this reason, the town is named Ganthuli. The red color is seen by the people in Vasant, springtime, in the water of Gulal Kund. After Raghav narrated these stories, they went for darshan of Gopal. Upon seeing the form of Gopal, the devotees became impatient in ecstatic love. Hare Krishna.
Oh, good. We can, yes, somebody please go ahead with this too.
The worshipful Lord served in Vithala in the same Gopala deity Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was eager to see. Vithala Natha was the son of Vallabha Bhatt. His loving sentiments were beyond description. Sometimes Gopala lived in Ganthuli Grama, and in this way Gopala fulfilled the devotee's desire. The crest jewel of sannyasis, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu glorified this earth by his pilgrimage to the holy places. Fortunate indeed are those who witnessed his pastimes as he visited all the tirthas of Mathura, Vrindavan, Govardhan, and Radhakund. The Lord had a great desire for the darshan of Gopal. However, in the mood of the devotee, he felt he could not climb Govardhan. At that time, on some pretext, Gopala came to the village of Ganthuli, taking the opportunity to have Gopal's darshan. The Lord fully immersed himself in ecstatic chanting and dancing. By seeing the Lord's wonderful manifestation of love, everyone lost their composure. At that time, Gopala's service was in the care of two Brahmana disciples of Mahavendra Puri. Having received the mercy of Mahavendra Puri, these Gaudiya Brahmanas were fully renounced and always absorbed in love of Godhead. What can be said? After not seeing them for some days, people wondered which fortunate person could perform their service to Gopala. Consulting with Sri Dasa Goswami and others, Sri Vithala was given the charge to serve Gopala. After the demise of his father, Sri Vallabha Bhatt, Vithala had spent some days in Mathura living in solitude. Overwhelmed by the pastimes of Gaurachandra, he always carefully engaged in serving Gopala. Raghav Pandit thus described the qualities of Gopala, and they cheerfully continued on from Ganthuli. Going further, Raghava told Srinivas, "Here is the town of Raheja. At this place, Indra felt great remorse after his offense and along with Surabhi approached Krishna. Another very potent pastime place named Devashirsha Sthana Kunda is beautifully situated here. In Devatas, the Devatas joyfully offered their prayers to Lord Krishna here as he herded the cows with his friends. See here the most pleasant Munishirsha Sthana Kunda where the Munis achieved Krishna by performing austerities. At these sites, Krishna and Balram performed various pastimes with their friends as they tended their cows.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. And yeah, good. Yeah, please go ahead. The last paragraph.
This is Pramodana Grama, where Krishna sportingly gave pleasure, Pramoda, to the ladies of Braja. For this reason, the village was known as Pramodana, although people now call it Paramadana. This is Setu Kandara, a most enchanting place. See here the most merciful Adi Badri Narayana. He is served in a most unique way by fragrant stones on this enchanting mountain within the forest. Krishna removed the lamentation of Nanda Maharaj and the other cowherd men by bringing them here for darshana of Narayana. See ahead the sacred Kadamba Khanana, where Radha Krishna happily enjoyed the many different pastimes with the Sakhis. During the month of Shravana, they enjoyed their swing pastimes here. This town is called Indroli. At this place, Indra engaged in meditation on Lord Krishna. O Srinivas, see Kano Yaro Grama, where Kanva Muni performed austerities. See now the best of all forests known as Kamya Vana. One who goes there is worshipped in Vishnu Loka.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll hear more about Kamyavana next time. So far we have heard about many places of pastimes, the Tirthalis. These are all wonderful, but I was really stuck at this point, and my highlighter also, I couldn't highlight anything more beyond this point. I pressed on something. Here, always absorbed in the love of Godhead. Here, the Gopala deity was worshipped by the son of Vallabhacharya, who is Vittalanatha. He's a pure devotee too. And so one time, Gaurachandra, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he visited Vrindavana, he was in the mood of a devotee, so he didn't want to put his foot on Govardhan, but he wanted to take darshan of Gopal there. So, knowing his desire, Gopal himself came down in the pretext of, so at that time on some pretext, Gopala came to the village of Gantuli. Gantuli is the place of these colors, right? Where they had this holy. Yeah, that's the place. So that's where Gopala came down so he could give darshan to Gaurachandra. And what happens when Gaurachandra gets the darshan of Gopala? What happens to him and what happens to the people surrounding him? So that happened. Lord's wonderful manifestation of love. Just by seeing that, people got love of Godhead. And we wonder why? Just by seeing, can that happen? We are so much struck at the level of physical communication only. We think we will know something only when we hear something, only when we do something, so much in the physical platform. But the spiritual platform is beyond, that's non-verbal and can be transferred even to distant places, not limited by place and time. So what is the wonder that somebody is just infused with ecstatic love of God, Krishna Prema, just by seeing Gaurachandra, just like that. And so that's what happened wherever he went. And here, this is where my marker also got struck. This praise of Gopala there, who were worshipping Gopala. Please note here, having received the mercy of Madhavendra Puri, These Gaudiya Brahmanas were fully renounced and always absorbed in love of Godhead. Time again and again, this love of Godhead, Krishna Prema, is a transcendental one and cannot be manufactured in our brain. It is not our experience. Anger is our experience. And the rest of this, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, these are our experiences. But Krishna Preeti, this is not our experience. That's a transcendental experience. It has to be given from a transcendental platform by somebody who has it. I cannot manufacture it. I cannot just get it in myself just by reading about it. It's like honey in the bottle. I may be reading books about honey, saying how sweet it is and the color of it, the varieties of honey. I may be actually looking at the honey bottle too. But I will not be able to get the taste of honey unless, whoever has that honey puts a drop of that on my tongue. Only then I can taste it. So whoever has that honey has to give me. The Sri Guru Ashraya Tattva, the spring bhaktas, they have it. That honey is there in their heart. And why should they want to give it to us? When we please them. When we see that we are eager not to taste the honey. That is, okay, I'm coming to you just so that I can taste that honey. Well, okay. But if he is pleased, if we are wanting to please him, then of course he would give the honey. He would give us the taste of that honey and much more that we may not be even knowing. Maybe he will take us to the place of honey, not just the bottle of honey. And maybe he will give us a residence at that island of honey. Who knows that? So the goal is to please the Ashraya Tattva. And then whatever he has, he would want to give it to us. We wouldn't even be knowing what he has. It's like this when the little one, a child, if a father has, say, 5 or 6 sons, and all of their sons, if they want some wealth from the father, they may be trying to impress father by doing this, that, with an intention to get that wealth from father. But if one of the son is like, I don't know anything about the property of the father, wealth of father, but I want to see my father happy. What can I do to make him happy? If that is his intention, no matter what needs to be done, if it is just bringing the chappal, or just going to the market, or just tolerating when he is just chastising him, or tolerating when he is beating, even when he has not done anything, any of these things, it could be any of these things. But if the intention is, he is my father, and I want to see him happy, what would father do with that kind of mood in the son? Not only the wealth that he has, we don't know what he has. He would give himself and the wealth he has, and so much more that that particular child or son would not even be knowing or wanting from him, but he would get all that from that father. Just that mood of mamata, seva bhava, to the Ashraya Tattva. And how do we know that we are heading the right way? That my mamata to Sri Guru is heading right way. How do I know? With the mamata that I have for Sri Guru, I should be getting Nam Ruchi. With the strength of the Nam Ruchi I get, I should be doing Vaishnava Seva, having Jivadaya, kindness to all the living entities, and seeing all the Vaishnavas as the object of our service. So that is the testimony of having Guru Nishta or Mamata to Sri Guru. Namaruchi, and Vaishnava Seva. Vaishnava Seva is not easy to do. Being kind to all the living entities at all times is not easy. We need immense spiritual strength for that. And at all times, where would that come from? Nam Ruchi. And we have just discussed in the very beginning, where can that Nam Ruchi come from? Krishna said, Tumara, Krishna Dite Paro, Tumara Shakati Ache. And what is that Sri Guru saying? How to get that Nam Ruchi? We have heard that from Samodhana Bhashya. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta has elaborately described the steps of Sri Sikshashtakam, of how to serve Harinam. So they are teaching us. They are giving us Nama Ruchi by teaching us how to do the Nama. So everything is given by them. Yeah, so that is about Guru Nishtha to Nama Ruchi to Vaishnava Seva. And we have discussed about that and about all these pastimes, wonderful pastimes. And about Rupa Goswami, how these Mahajanas, their mood is always transcendental, either in the Vipralamba Bhava or in Sambhoga Bhava, or they are living in one of the pastimes of the Lordships. Though we are seeing them in the mortal frame, they are living inside in their spiritual form. Like, the other day we have heard the buttermilk story in a little leaf, and somebody brought the big leaf from Sakhistali of Chandravali, and how Raghunath Das Goswami said, no, whoever tries to give any challenges difficult to Sri Radhika, I am not going to take anything from them. So their spiritual emotions. So they live in their Swarupa internally, though they are visible to us in their mortal form externally. So that's about the Katha of the Mahajanas, all these Bhagavatas and their Bhakti. I'm going to pause here, dear devotees. I know it is a little long today, but it was good hearing about the Harinama